Could the CIA be backing the Khalistanis?
I'm sure that there's definitely some plausibility there. I remember when I was in college, this was back in the late 90s, early 2000s, that there was, I read some publications about how there were actually Khalistani training camps in, I think it was like Virginia or somewhere in the US set up by the CIA. Now, whether how much how much validity there is behind that, but I've definitely read that multiple times. And that was the first time I heard about that.
What year was that?
This was had to be late 90s, like 99-ish, 2000, probably
So
around
when
that
India
time.
was still in the we're super neutral camp, and it's plausible the CIA was
Well,
saying,
that's when I read about it, but
"Oh,
the
oh, oh."
literature could have been, I think, was referring to this happening in the 80s, like during the peak of it, when US and Pakistan were obviously, very close, had a very close relationship, et cetera, and where the Khalistan movement was at its peak and where there was much more activity here in the US in terms of providing material and logistical support through fundraising amongst the pro Khalistani groups here in the US. So that was kind of at its peak. And so I definitely think that there was a certain history that likely pointed towards that. Whether it's happening now, I don't know. Although it's certainly plausible, could be. These things are always used for leverage. When you have people that are pro Khalistanis invited to the White House at the end of the Biden administration, I wouldn't be surprised.
I think
Okay,
it's kind of funny that activists, well, at least in the activist circles, um, there are rumors or allegations of Khalistani characters being Pakistani agents, those who are opposing the movement being Indian agents, and now this CIA thing. I mean, if there were ever a transnational movement, it would be the Khalistani movement, considering all the different governments that are accused of having a hand in it. So it's funny that the TNR bill was actually targeting people who were crying foul about that
Yeah.
movement.
Yeah. I mean, the US role in that is, less known, or it's less concrete, but the Pakistani role is absolutely concrete.